EVE Online is this science fiction based game which is founded upon combat, trade, crafting and hyper-capitalism as we all feel it. Now, tie this into a setting of shiny, beautiful spaceships, really haunting asteroid fields and mesmerizing planets, and you have the setting for EVE Online. Developing an expansion like Quantum Rise is actually quite exciting. There are so many disciplines that come together to collaborate on the effort. For instance, the ideas begin in game design. Game designers think of something usually which is totally impossible to do, and then they talk to the programming department to check with the feasibility of it. The programmers go and then implement it, and very often they need different, for instance, let's say that they're building a mission system, then the content department comes in and writes all these missions and writes different texts for it. Once it's gone through programming, you usually need art to accompany it. It begins with concept art, then it goes to the modelers themselves, then the integration artists or the technical artists. Once everything is combined, then the client is ready for QA and the quality assurance. And QA starts looking at it. Alongside this, the marketing department is starting to hum up using information that it gathers from all the different disciplines and from production. So come launch day, the game has actually gone through all these different departments and different people, up to 100 people, and ends up as a simple downloadable, executable file on the internet.
Game designers decide what goes into the game. And so one of the most important skills a game designer can have is the ability to think critically, because an idea for the game can come from anywhere. I mean, anybody who's played EVE has thought of another idea for the game. So we take all the various ideas and stick them into a backlog, and then we prioritize that backlog. And sometimes the idea for a game can just come from looking at what we've already got and finding, filling in the gaps.
Game design's job is to come up with all these crazy ideas. Then it's up to us in the EVE software group to actually implement them. That can be tricky at times, but through a series of iterative development steps and using the Scrum methodology, we most often try to make their idea a reality.
The first challenge when we create new content for EVE Online is, of course, to be true to the game itself and to the way the universe looked like already in EVE, the look and feel of it, which means that the concept artists here at CCP are actually very traditional artists. They're painters and drawers. And when they design something new, they need to completely embrace all the background and all the core of the visual style of EVE, which means that we rely very heavily on their own culture of EVE Online. And the look of EVE is really what comes out of the concept artists. In this expansion, Quantum Rise, we are creating a new ship, which is called the Orca. It's an industrial ship, industrial meaning that the ship itself, of course, has a very strong function. And that is a very important part of the early design, the early phase of the design of a ship, when the concept artists start to sketch and paint and draw basically the first visual target for the ship itself. He's doing that in interaction with the game designers to make sure that we have a full understanding of the meaning of the object itself, of the ship in that specific case, of its function in the game.
The design brief we got from game design for the Orca was, it was supposed to be a large transport ship of sorts with possible refining capabilities. So the main inspiration for that was large transport ships that we see on the oceans today, oil tankers and the like. The idea was to see if you could stand on the bridge of the Orca and look out, you would see the containers quite visible across the deck, stretching out in front of you.
So what is there to be excited about in this new expansion? Well, there are multiple things. We can, for instance, name the Orca, which is a new class of ship that we're adding to the wide array that we already have. We have over 580 ships already in the game. The game has been out for 5 years and we continue to expand it. This is the 9th expansion to EVE, and throughout the courses of our expansions, the player numbers have also grown significantly. We're now up to 250,000 players. and our peak concurrent player record is over 40,000 people playing together at the same time. And this is all happening in the same world. It's a one universe. So this also puts extreme pressure on our hardware and our software. And that's probably the other big thing about this expansion. We have released significant optimizations to our software, stackless I/O, moving the server logic to 64-bit. And this is allowing us now to support fluidly fleet battles over 1,000 participants. So what this means is we have over 1,000 ships fighting it out in one solar system. This large universe, which we now have in EVE, also has a huge player-driven economy. And these ships are actually manufactured by the player base. So really what we're introducing in this expansion is a way to build the Orca, but it's going to be built by our players, because ultimately it is a player-run universe.
EVE Online is a really big social community. It's a community with one single universe where everyone participates in the same world. So, with 300,000 plus people participating in the same world, we have a vibrant, real-life economy. Economy that is just as real as any other economy that is out there.
As you have heard, the performance boost that Quantum Rise delivers has exceeded our wildest expectations. The industry standard for MMOs features battles of up to 100 players. In EVE, we are now seeing fleet battles with over 1,200 participants, and that's just the beginning of what we can achieve. These massive engagement decide the outcome of wars over scarce resources and territories. Every player in the game is affected by these battles, either directly or by its economic consequences. Players have the unrestricted ability to group with other players, forming alliances and choosing sides in the ongoing conflict. In EVE, this emergent behavior mimics the real world. The social experience that players have is not simulated, it's virtual, which allows for some of the most compelling gameplay in the industry.